Okay, so today we're going to talk about dreams and why we have sleep paralysis and why we sleep walk as well. Um, so basically, we have the ability to exist in three states of consciousness. We've got the physical consciousness, the subconscious, and the conscious or higher self. Okay, so the conscious is kind of made up of the left brain and right brain. So you've got your conscious self and your subconscious self, and your subconscious self is your voice of reason and your voice of doubt. That's the little voice in your head that when you're wanting to do something, it will sort of be like, oh, yeah, oh, I don't know, oh, are you sure about this? Like, that's a bit scary and a bit, ooh, sort of thing. Whereas, like, your conscious self is that voice in your gut that says to you, do it, do it, do it, do it, and you have to do something and you don't question it. And then basically what happens is the subconscious self has a lot of control over the conscious self, and you have to learn to shut the left brain down by just drowning out the voices in your head and listening to the voice in your gut, which means that it's the conscious self and the subconscious self having a direct connection to the physical self as well, and having that reaction in your gut is the physical response to that connection. Um, you will often have situations where you'll do something and you do it without question, and you don't know why you did it. You just know that if you hadn't have crossed the road when you did, that building was coming down behind you, or if you had have gone to the party that night, you would have ended up in that car crash dead as well. Like, we've all listened to that voice in our gut that tells us to do something and not to do something. That's your higher self. That is that direct connection to that little person that is you, that sits above you, your light, your energy, your spirit, your soul, or whatever, that is responsible for everything you think, everything you say, everything you do. Their sole purpose, obviously, as you, is to guide you in the best possible way in your life and your journey, so that you can complete everything that you have to do, so that when you die you don't have to come back and do it again. So it's like your higher self, it's your higher consciousness, and it's the voice in your head that tells your gut what to think and say and do. So if you're ever in a situation where that voice in your gut is telling you, run, for the love of God, run, and then that voice in your head is saying, run, then, you know, you instinctually run. So that's the physical and the conscious self having that direct connection to the higher self. So the physical and the subconscious self having a connection to the higher self, all of which is contained in one little atomic bubble that is you and everything that you are when you die, and when you connect with spirit and the dead, and your life essence, basically. Now, the thing is, because we are physically contained, because all of this conscious energy and all this atomic energy is contained within a physical, the physical body can only take so much before it gets tired. And we all know when we work a hard day, when we've had a stressful day, our body is the first indicator that we're tired, because, you know, we slow down, we get sleepy. And that's pretty much essentially your body shutting itself down to go into a state of suspended animation, or like kind of like the first stages of death. Really, it's the only way you can describe it. Sleeping is a form of death, because you shut down completely. You have no control over what happens to you when you're asleep, because once you go to sleep, your higher self goes off to time travel and be in time, and, you know, visit loved ones in past lives, present lives, ancestors. You know, when you're dead, you exist in time. You are part of time. You are the fabric of time. You are the light that weaves in the fabric of time. So you have access to it. And then, so what happens is, the little voice in your gut needs to clock off, because he's got to go home and do all the things that he's got to do. So he will shut everything down so that you go to sleep. And then, interestingly, what can often happen is a lot of people will start becoming aware of the fact that they're feeling watched in their bedroom. And a lot of people will have incidences where they swear black and blue every night, or almost every night, when they're asleep or getting ready to go to bed or going to sleep or asleep, they will feel someone in the room with them, and they will be feeling someone in the room with them, because that's their spirit out, or their guide. Now, the big misconception about spirit elders or spirit guides is they don't talk to you, they do not communicate with you unless it's a matter of life and death. This is one of the big inaccuracies about the paranormal, is that a lot of psychics and mediums are telling people, you know, I'm talking to your spirit guide this, and your spirit elder said this, and blah, 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 and it's not true. The truth of the matter is, your spirit elder has such an important role to play because they exist purely to make sure that your life journey from the second you were created to the minute you die, you live out your life purpose as you intend it to be as you go along, because you really do make this up as you go along. And so their sole purpose is to maintain perfect order and safety, and, you know, follow the guidelines and regulations of making sure that you don't die before your time. And so they watch you, they only interact in matters of life or death. And it's that simple. If anyone says they're talking to your spirit guides or your spirit elders, they're lying, because they will only ever come to you in matters of life or death. Now, this is the interesting thing. Sleep paralysis is what happens when your spirit goes off to wander. We've all heard about OBEs or astral travel. They are completely true. The worst thing you can do is try and astral travel while you're still conscious, because it's very, very dangerous. And this is the reason why. When your spirit, when you go to sleep and your little man clocks off for the day, your spirit goes off to become part of time. Okay, so then what happens is when your conscious self, or your subconscious self rather, starts waking up before your body has woken up, because you can't exist as a subconscious and a physical in a functioning world without connection of all three. So your spirit has to be back in your body, otherwise you're essentially dead. So what happens is you start waking up before your body has woken up, and you panic and you have that fear and you don't know what's going on, and you scream in your head and you try to talk and wake yourself up, but you can't move. That's sleep paralysis. That's because you've woken up without your soul. Okay, now the danger is that if you start to wake up physically before you've had that connect, or docking as I call it, you will die in your sleep. And that's what SIDS is, and SADS as well, sudden adult death syndrome and sudden infant death syndrome, is what happens when the physical self and the brain starts to wake up before the higher self is connected to all three. It's like a broken chain. There's no link there to hold it together. So, you know, it breaks apart and you die. Now, what will usually happen is a lot of people will say, you know, while I couldn't move and I was screaming in my head, I could feel someone and I was really scared. Or they'll say they weren't scared until they felt a touch on their foot, or they felt someone, you know, stroke their head or breathe in their ear. Or if it's really bad, if you're really in trouble and you're about to start waking up before your spirit's back in your body, your spirit elder will resort to really drastic actions. Nothing will wake you up quicker than a fright. So they will do things like they will growl in your ear, they might make you feel like you're being choked, they might jump on your chest, they might scream at you, or they might appear to you in blackness in your mind as something really scary to wake you up, and you'll wake up with a start, and you know, and you'll be absolutely terrified, but you're fine, because your spirit elder does not want to hurt you, and they have no power to hurt you. They have no control over anything you do, other than they're like your security guards of your soul. And when you start waking up before your spirit is back in your body, you are at your most vulnerable, because not only could you leave something open negative to come in, if someone was trying to cause harm to you, the best time to do it is when they're asleep, which is why the government like to do these mind sweeps while people are sleeping. And what was I saying? Yeah, so the alarm bells start going off, and then your spirit starts realizing, oh fuck, like shit, she's starting to wake up, and then it'll come slamming back into your body, and you'll often wake up with like a or a start or a sort of feeling. Well, that's that connect. That's when everything starts to connect again, and that light switches on, and you are you once again. Now the opposite to that is if your body starts to wake up before your conscious mind is awake, you sleepwalk. And that's what sleepwalking is. It's when your body wakes up before your subconscious mind is alert and telling you what to do. Now, the thing is about dreams. is that when we're out doing these things, and it's often, you know, people will do this when they're sleepwalking, they will be acting out something that they aren't physically doing in real life. This is because they're caught between time. And when you sleepwalk or when you dream, you're in time, and the physical body is caught in time, while the conscious side is out in time living the experience of whatever it is the person is living. Because as I said, when you go to sleep, your spirit leaves your body and goes off to be in the light, to regenerate and be a part of it and see it and know it and, you know, master it and all that sort of thing. And when you start to wake up, your subconscious mind starts trying to make sense of everything it just saw. So it's like, what the fuck just happened there? So then it will come up with movies, it'll come up with this like a script to try and make sense of what it is it just saw. And that's why we have dreams. Dreams are basically your body's way of starting to slowly wake you up gently, because we always wake up just after we've had a dream. We never not wake up after a dream. We always wake up. We only dream for anywhere up to about 20 minutes. They can last seconds and feel like they've lasted days, but in essence, we actually only sleep for about, dream for about 20 minutes. But it's done in a subtle way to slowly dock the spirit back into the subconscious mind. So then as we're starting to wake up, our mind's going, what was that I just saw? So it starts to dream and plays out the vision in your dream. And that's why all dreams can be interpreted. In my culture, in the Māori culture, we live by our dreams, and there's nothing that can't be interpreted, because they are prophetic, or they're visits from the dead. But the really cool thing is that later on, if you're ever playing out a scenario in life where you go, oh my God, I swear to God, this has happened to me before. Deja vu. Well, that's what deja vu is. Deja vu is when you remember something that you've just played out for real in the future in your sleep. So deja vu is you remembering your spirit time traveling, essentially. It has nothing to do with past lives or karma or anything like that. So that, in a nutshell, is dreams and sleep paralysis and sleepwalking and deja vu and the whole kit and caboodle. And yeah, this is what I want to teach you. So the other thing you need to remember about dreams is the scarier the dream, the better the prophecy. So if you dream about demons, if you dream about being attacked, if you dream about being killed, if you dream about being chased by crowds of people, if you dream about anything where you're under physical attack, anything that involves military, police, that sort of thing, it's all good. Apocalyptic dreams are really good. They're always like births of new beginnings. Any dream that you have where it involves death, as in like where someone dies, someone gets murdered, something gets killed, blah, 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 it usually means the end of something and the start of something new, or a rebirth. So it could be that you lose your job due to gossip, but you get a better one in its place, depending on what it was that you had to kill. Like if you had to kill a snake, then it would be the job one. If you had to kill a person, then it means that you're surrounded by a lot of love and protection. So the other really good dreams to have are like if you have conversations with Jesus. They're really good prophetic ones. They're usually like the dawn of an awakening, or you're on the precipice of having some sort of great, you know, spiritual epiphany. What else? The worst ones are to dream of nuns. That's usually like fear of, not, sorry, it's a warning to protect yourself, that you're under threat from like physical or emotional attack. What else? Weather in dreams is always to do with your emotions. Water as well is always to do with your emotions. And yeah, so dreams really aren't that hard to interpret once you realize you're actually being shown the future. So when you interpret your dreams, you can essentially do a reading on yourself. I interpret dreams for people all the time. I get paid to interpret dreams for people. That was the other thing. If anyone would like to have like a private session, or they'd like their dreams done, or, you know, want some guidance or anything like that, you can email me at debbie@dakiwi.com, and I can help you out with private sessions and shit like that. But yeah, so that's basically dreams and sleepwalking and sleep paralysis and spirit guides and all that in a nutshell. And if you have any suggestions for any other videos, please feel free to leave a comment in the box below. I will just keep pumping these stupid videos out. So yeah, right. Sorry about being in the bedroom as well, but my boys have hijacked downstairs to make one of their little videos or something. So you know, I don't want to stifle their creativity. So anyway, enjoy the video, and I'll speak to you soon. Love you. And this is me now. So there's a few things I want to explain about that video before you take any information away and share it with other people. Firstly, I was still developing everything back then. I was trying to understand the supernatural world as I was developing into an occult scientist. So that meant that I still had a lot to learn, even though I was posting videos, which is one of the reasons why I took that original channel down, because I was starting to realize that everything I thought I knew as a paranormal scientist was based in half-truths or misconceptions and misunderstandings. Now I know the difference between the paranormal and the supernatural. This is what this channel's for, and my Facebook and Instagram explains everything in depth using the sciences that I now call quantum magnetics, the creation frequency, the ascension sciences, all of it. It's all there on my Instagram and Facebook. So the most important thing you need to understand is that there are no spirit guides or spirit elders. It's us. We watch over ourselves. That's our conscious mind. We are our spirit. We are the spirit. We are the spirit elder. We are the spirit guide. It's our conscious mind watching over our physical bodies to make sure that we live out our destiny the way that we're meant to, and we don't die before our time, that we do everything we're supposed to do to fulfill our agreement that we make with ourselves when we come here, to make sure that everything that we have to deal with karma and self-development, is taken care of as planned, the way it is meant to happen. So we watch over ourselves when we sleep. Our conscious mind is our spirit. We are our spirit. We are our spirit elder. We are our spirit guide. We watch over our physical body. We take care of our psychological minds as well, which is what dreams are. So don't listen to what I was saying about the dreams, because 99.9% of all dreams are a form of psychoanalysis, where we are giving ourselves advice on how to heal our subconscious mind, because we're here to play out karma, because we're here to get things right this time so we don't have to come back again by force. We watch over ourselves, and if we see anything that we need to work on, we make ourselves play it out through dreams. So our mind tries to understand it in the physical world in the form of dreams, but it's basically our spirit, our soul, trying to talk to our subconscious mind, our conscious mind, and the creation frequency where all time exists at once, trying to give our subconscious mind therapy and guidance and direction on what we should be doing to deal with whatever it is we need to deal with, either at that moment or childhood traumas, that sort of thing. We're expecting ourselves to fix ourselves so that we get it right this time, so that we don't have to come back, or that when we do come back, we get to choose exactly who and what it is that we want to be. Because up until that point, until we get everything right, as we develop to perfect ourselves as an energetic being of pure consciousness, we often don't have a choice based on who we were and how we lived in our last life. We often don't have a choice as to who we are in this life, because we might be here to deal with punishments or deal with karma, with things we haven't learned that we need to learn to get it right this time, so that we can become higher evolved beings in the next one. So the other thing is, don't email that address. It doesn't exist anymore. I don't do that work anymore. I love doing what I do. I want to educate people on the supernatural and the paranormal and the occult sciences. So that email address doesn't exist anymore, and I don't do that work anymore. I love to educate people. I love to talk. radio, podcasting, that sort of thing. That's what I love to do, talk about what I do. So I also want to apologise for the bad language. I hadn't taken etiquette classes back then. I was still a diamond in the rough. I hadn't had my ascension, and so the language is pretty bad. So I apologise for that. As you can see, that's not who I am now. I have been rehearsing and practicing on this channel during lockdown to have more confidence with how I speak, with how I come across, because of the fact that I've always wanted to do radio and podcasts and things like that, based on doing what I love, which is teaching people about the occult sciences. So you can see my ascension process. It's embarrassing, but you know, I'm not that person anymore. So I just wanted to explain everything, and yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. I'll speak to you later. Mwah.